What up? This your boy D, Darius Mitchell, the hip hop Republican. So this week, the Boston Globe and Suffolk University came out with a Massachusetts politic poll. So I wanted to go over the numbers and give my opinion on them. It had approval ratings by politicians I found interesting. Donald Trump in Massachusetts. Favorables, 29.83%. Unfavorables, 60.83%. Undecided, 9.33%. Never heard of, 0%. Elizabeth Warren, favorables, 45%. 45% for Massachusetts, U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren, 45.67. Unfavorables, 45%. It's even. Her favorables and unfavorables in Massachusetts are even at 45 and 45. The favorable is 45.83. Undecided, 7.17. Never heard of, 1.33. 0% of people in Massachusetts have never heard of Donald Trump. 1.33 have never heard of Elizabeth Warren, and she's from here. She's elected official here. Charlie Baker, the governor, favorable, 69.17. His numbers have stayed 69.17. The media they have this narrative. He's the most popular governor in America. His unfavorables, 15.33. Undecided on the governor, 13.17. And he's been talking about running for a third term in Massachusetts, unheard of in modern politics. Most Massachusetts governors, if they're going to run for a third office after they have been governor for 2 terms, they're going for president. Mitt Romney, well, he only did 1 term, but he went for president. Michael Dukakis, president. I think Salucci ran for president too. Charlie Baker, he wants to go run for governor again. Something little, little stuff. And 2.33 have never heard of Charlie Baker. We have Ed Markey, this also the U.S. Senator. His favorables, 38.83. He's barely above Donald Trump in his own state, Massachusetts. And he's a Democrat. Oh, Massachusetts is a Democratic state. Ed Markey, he's up for election next year. 38.83% favorables. His unfavorables, 25.17%. And then his other numbers are just crazy. 13.83% of Massachusetts voters polled in this poll. The Suffolk University Boston Globe poll, 13.83% of Massachusetts voters have never heard of Ed Markey, a U.S. senator who has been a senator for about 7 years and was a congressman before that for like 30 years, since the 70s, since not Jimmy Walker from Good Times, JJ, Dynamite, but since Jimmy Carter from Georgia, the peanut farmer, was president in the 70s, late 70s. That's how long Ed Markey's been in office in Massachusetts. And 13.83% in the year 2019 have never heard of Ed Markey in an election year. 13%. Undecided on him, 22. 22% are undecided on a sitting U.S. senator who's been in office for 40 years. And then you got Maura Healey, the Attorney General. She's 42% favorables, 19% unfavorable, 22% undecided on her, 15% have never even heard of her. She's like a media darling. Oh my gosh, Maura Healey's going to run for governor. And then you have Marty Walsh, the Boston mayor, 56% favorables, 16% unfavorables. 19.83%. That's about 20% are undecided on the mayor of Boston, and 6.5 never heard of him. Then we have impeachment. Massachusetts voters, yes, 41% on impeachment. They want impeachment. No, 48%. So they're both below 50%. 48% no on impeachment. Undecided, 9.17 on impeaching President Trump. That's 10%. So those polls are still fluctuating. Charlie Baker, third term. We just talked about that. Yes, 66%. He's every poll. He's 66, 69% on everything. He's kind of a Democrat. 23% no. 10% undecided. Okay? So it has a poll. Which primary will you vote in next March for president? And this is just crazy. This is a Donald Trump poll. This is what Donald Trump wants to see in the White House. All these Democrats in Massachusetts, Boston, they're so anti-Donald Trump. But this poll is just insanity. Like Lynn Sanity, who just won a championship with Toronto this week. This poll is insanity I'm about to repeat to you. It asks, which primary are you going to take a ballot for next March for the presidential election? And very likely, 61.21% of the people polled say they're going to take a Democratic ballot for the presidential primary next year. Very likely. And somewhat likely, 10%. So, 9%. Not very, 6%. So let's repeat that. People are going to take Democrat because that's what the media pumps to them. There's 25 candidates, but Massachusetts don't understand that there's going to be only one chance for a Massachusetts voter to vote against Donald Trump and make it count. And it's going to be next March in the primaries. Because in November, we already know that the state is going to go Democrat. Donald Trump knows it. He's already become president once without winning Massachusetts. He's already become president once without winning any New England state. He didn't have to win New Hampshire. He lost New Hampshire by 1,000 votes. He lost Massachusetts. He lost Vermont, Maine, Connecticut, Rhode Island. He lost all 6 New England states. And he's paid New England states back for those losses too. The sitting president of the United States has only visited New England once in 3 years as president. It's like New England doesn't exist. Massachusetts doesn't exist. The president doesn't come here. Democrats, very likely to take a Democratic ballot for president next year, 61%. Somewhat likely 10%. So that's 70%. Right now, we're 7 months out, 8 months out. But President Trump has a primary challenge, and that's former Massachusetts Governor Bill Weld. So if people in Massachusetts want to vote against Donald Trump, there's only going to be one chance, and that's going to be the first week in March. So in 7 months, the people of Massachusetts and New England are going to have big decisions to make. They can go around and follow the media, lockstep or whatever you want to call it. But you're done. You're done for the election season if you don't take your chance in March. So presidential poll for the candidates so far. This is crazy too. Joe Biden, 21%. Elizabeth Warren, 10%. Mayor Pete, 8%. Bernie, 6%. Camilla, 4%. Corey, 1%. Gabbard, 1%. Seth, one. Other one. That's the presidential poll. For the U.S. Senate race next year, Democratic primary. Markey's at 43%, under 50%. He's underwater. We have a lawyer. She's at 5. Another guy, Steve. He's at 4.86. Undecided, 44%. That's almost 50% of the voters. That 44% could decide the next U.S. Senator of Massachusetts. 44%. So Ed Markey can be defeated. There's no problem with that. It's just about getting a candidate that can relate to people. And the Republican Party, they're just lost in the wilderness. They'll run who knows who, but it'll be some radical that won't go into any inner cities or urban, won't have any connections to any people of color. And some Democrat will probably win that Massachusetts U.S. Senate seat from Ed Markey, or Ed Markey will get reelected. It would be Ed Markey's third election to U.S. Senate, one of the worst senators on the planet. It would be his third time being elected U.S. Senator in 7 years. And I'm a Republican. I'm a hip hop Republican. That's right, we coming. And the Republican Party is just, they don't exist. And Ed Markey, who shouldn't be elected, has been elected 3 times in 7 years. And I don't understand how the Massachusetts Republican Party, like, I don't even want to be, I don't even know how they exist. And they never learn their lesson. It's the same thing over and over again. It's like Groundhog Day. And then another poll stuck out to me. Oh yeah, Democratic primary for governor. Maura Healey, 34%. Mayor Walsh, Boston, 35%. Undecided, 28%. So there could be a mystery person come out, be the Democratic nominee for governor 2022. All right. Y'all know y'all getting exclusive stuff. Ain't nobody gonna give y'all like the insight like this. Ain't no, I'm the hip hop Republican. That's all I'm saying. 20 years experience in Massachusetts politics. And ain't nobody giving you this stuff, yo. And you getting it for free. And okay, this poll stuck out to me right here. This is the Commuter poll. How do you get to work? It says, drive alone. Good morning. Drive alone. 75.82% of Massachusetts residents, when they commute to work, they drive alone. That's insanity. It's 2019. I wonder if in China, 75% of Chinese in Beijing drive to work alone. I wonder if in Tokyo, 75% of Tokyoans, is that how you say it? Drive to work alone, or in Singapore, or Hong Kong, Taiwan, or Europe. Dude, America's the only people who are still driving in that rate. But Boston should have a first class rail system. Like, we have a 1970 rail system in New England, in Boston. And that's the people of Massachusetts. That's not including the people from Rhode Island who work in Massachusetts, or all the people from New Hampshire that commute, from Nashua and Salem that commute in Boston, commute to northern Massachusetts, who commute from Nashua, Salem, we should have a Lowell, Nashua rail line. We should have a Lowell to Montreal, Boston to Manchester rail line. And People could talk about this economy, that, and the economy, this, and this governor's popular, and President Trump with his base. But if you ain't investing in your infrastructure, your this country is limping on one leg. There should be, well, that's the biggest poll to me in this right here. People drive alone 75% of Massachusetts, and that's not even including New Hampshire. And that's just insanity. That is insanity. And those are the issues of this country. Carpool, 4%. Commuter rail, 4%. Subway, 4%. Combination public, 3%. Bus, 2%. Walk, 2%. Those numbers are too low. Thank you. I haven't decided yet. Please. And those numbers are too low. And that drive alone number is too high. That drive alone number is only going to get us in another war in the Middle East. And that, shame. We're only going to get in a war with Iran, or if anything pops off in the Straits of Hormuz, where there's issues right now with boats and cargo going through there, because we have a lunatic in the White House named John Bolton, National Security Advisor. President Trump loves lunatics. And John Bolton has had some beef with the Middle East, Iran, axis of evil. Who made that up? John Bolton, Iran, Iraq. We already lost $5 trillion in Iraq. People lost legs, limbs, lost national treasure, trillions, $5 trillion. We could have a state-of-the-art transportation system across this country right now if we didn't spend $5 trillion, $6 trillion body parts in Iraq. So we still have those people, some of those people in office, in the White House, with the ear of the president. He's very, I ain't gonna talk about him. But that 75% drive alone, that's what's gonna get us in. We shouldn't be dependent that much on Saudi Arabia. The president loves Saudi Arabia. He just sold them smart bombs. And in Iraq, John Bolton hates Iran. John Bolton hates Iran. And we need to throw them bums out come election time. And that's what I got to say about the current Suffolk County Boston Globe poll that came out from Massachusetts this week. So let me sum it up. Elizabeth Warren, 50-50 in Massachusetts. People never heard of her. Donald Trump, nobody likes him, but they're going to all vote Democrat in March. And Donald Trump's going to float through. And it don't matter in November, because Donald Trump don't want to win Massachusetts. He don't have to win Massachusetts to win the presidency. We have all these educated people in Massachusetts, and they haven't realized this point yet, that the only way people in New England, Massachusetts are going to be able to vote against Donald Trump and make it count is in the primary in March. That's our national voting day in Massachusetts. And there will be candidates running against the president. There will be a race on that ballot. And let me see, what else is it? I want to stop this thing. 41% for impeachment in Mass, 48% against, 10%, 9% undecided. Elizabeth Warren liked 45%. She's not even above 50%. Like the president's not above 50% nationally. Elizabeth Warren's not above 50% in Massachusetts. She's at 45% and 45%. She's even. And this is a senator who's been senator since 2013. 1.3% have never heard of Elizabeth Warren. Charlie Baker, 69%, 15% unfavorable. 2% have never even heard of a sitting governor. And that's it. Everybody, happy Father's Day. Everybody have a good day. This is Darius, the Hip Hop Republican.